Breakpoint, 15 countries, 12 finalists, one amazing vision. Empower Caribbean companies to take on export markets. Over 13 weeks, we meet more than 30 companies selected from over 15 Caribbean countries. We follow their journey, from their first coaching sessions at the University of the West Indies School of Business in Barbados, where they not only learn the fundamentals of business communication, but have all of their presentations individually reviewed and critiqued by business development educators. Amazing advice, unparalleled insight. Dedicated entrepreneurs vying to convince 4 judges to choose their company to be among the 12 finalists who travel to London to make their final pitch in front of angel investors, distributors and retailers that could change their future and move them forward. This week, we follow 4 innovative entrepreneurs vying to win the chance to pitch to venture capitalists, angel investors and distributors in London to gain access to European markets.
It gives us an opportunity for us creative developers to get access to funding, access to markets.
Possibly the largest opportunity we had to date.
A regional competition showcasing Caribbean products and industry.
Rodney's Wellness Retreat is an agro-tourism project.
Naturally handmade bath and body products.
Dancebeat Records.
Christian Freeze custom jewelry.
Giving training and valuable expertise.
What do you see as being the growth factors for you?
It was very impactful.
I'm a little confused, however. I still don't know what the business model is.
Creating a catalyst to take the Caribbean to the world.
Breakpoint is a really good initiative for us.
Everything is locally done and it has the heart of the Caribbean involved in it.
Here are the judges for Breakpoint. 6 of the most enterprising and successful businessmen and women in the Caribbean. Today, they're about to make or break the dreams of these budding entrepreneurs. These leading business people bring years of experience to the table. Preeminent business leader Dr. Basil Springer was a consultant to the Caribbean Development Bank and established the Caribbean Business Enterprise Trust Inc. Awarded the Barbados Gold Crown of Merit in 2000, Dr. Springer is also a motivational speaker and provides workshops on his management of business matrix.
I've had a lot of experience over the last 12 years in enterprise development. So when I was asked by the Caribbean Export to participate as a judge in this very interesting exercise, I could not refuse.
Joseph Mathalon has a wealth of experience in the business world. As the owner and principal of Jamaica management consultancy firm CSL Projects, he is an expert in restructuring businesses to improve logistics and efficiency.
I found it was very, very interesting, a very useful program. It gave me an opportunity to mentor some of the young upcoming entities in the region.
Genevieve Jodhan is the Executive Manager of Export and Business Development at one of the world's leading manufacturers of rum and bitters, Angostura Limited. She is currently the only female logistician in the Caribbean.
I agreed to be a judge at Breakpoint because of my experience in trading with the EU markets and having first-hand knowledge of how difficult it is to actually stay in the market once you enter.
Alan Brzezinski is Managing Director of preeminent Grenadian retailer Jonas Brown & Hubbard. Well versed to advise our candidates, he is a past president of the Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce.
I am always very impressed to see Caribbean people who have the entrepreneurial spirit.
CEO of leading advertising agency Freestyle Inc., Kenny Green's diverse portfolio also includes co-founder and director of mobile content provider Pixon Phones and director of Nature Isle Realty.
I felt that it was an excellent opportunity to lend some of my experience to the program and also to get an understanding of what is going on around the region in terms of people building capacity to be able to go into other markets.
Notable investment and securities dealer Christopher Williams is the co-founder and CEO of Proven Investments Limited, a multi-million-dollar investment company. He was also deputy chairman of the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
I chose to be a judge in Breakpoint because of the opportunity that it presents, not just for the region, but for the individual entrepreneurs to develop. And I think that what we're trying to do here is really build a generation of entrepreneurs that will last way beyond our lifetime. And so my ability to participate in that process is something that you just can't say no to.
Together, they will decide who will go forward. Will any of today's hopeful entrepreneurs win the opportunity to pitch in London? Let's now take a look at the criteria for Breakpoint. The candidate must show a clear opportunity for the product in the market. The firm must demonstrate a competitive level of product innovation. There must be a compelling position on which to build the brand. the product must be in a position to benefit from the advantages of the IPA. The firm must be able to show market readiness for entry in less than 6 months, and the candidate must be able to show industry knowledge and possess management and leadership experience. The first step for the budding entrepreneurs was to submit a video pitch to Breakpoint. The successful firms then participated in a preparatory session at Cave Hill School of Business in Barbados. FaceTime with top mentors who analysed their business model and advised them on preparing their pitch. Hailing from the island of St. Kitts, Dancebeat Records is a technology company offering Caribbean music for download via its eMag platform. It's run by John Francis after he returned from Europe.
Dancebeat was established in Sweden back in the 1980s, 1989. We were importing Caribbean talent. I moved back to St. Kitts 10 years ago and continued the work I was doing there.
Dancebeat Records have created a new project called Caribbean Downloads. Consumers, artists, DJs can interact to access Caribbean digital content. It's made it more easier for people to get more direct contact with to their content providers.
Now let's meet Damien Sarando from Caribbean Export as he welcomes the contestants to the program.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome again to this Breakpoint preparatory session in Barbados. Breakpoint, we're really looking at using the EPA, which was signed in 2008, the CARIFORUM EU Economic Partnership Agreement, to drive entrepreneurship. So as you know, we've had access to many developed markets, but we haven't seemed to gain that sort of traction and make that significant jump that we have all hoped and desired to. It really seeks to demonstrate that there are benefits to be gained by the EPA and that it is an advantageous agreement for regional businesses, entrepreneurs, innovative ideas, and so on. And with that, in conclusion, Breakpoint again, this is the point at which we stop or break from doing business as usual and begin the process of empowering our regional businesses, entrepreneurs.
Now we move to Barbados, to the bespoke jewellery and production retail firm, Christian Fries. Sole proprietor Keith Shepherd is as passionate about his company as he is about his custom jewellery.
The name of the company is actually the name of my first son. It's to remind me of how precious the company is and my passion for jewelry. It's also to convey to the customer something of value. The name of my company is Christian Fries Custom Jewelry. Our products and service, we make jewelry. Our product is innovative. It's different in that we're using age-old techniques to make handmade jewelry. It's innovative in that it's made here in Barbados by Barbadian hands, from sometimes Barbadian materials, and it's intrinsically Barbadian design. I hope we get you. Thanks so much. Bye.
Factoid about the Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA. The EPA has resulted in duty-free, quota-free market access into the European Union for all CARIFORUM products. We have two more exciting entrepreneurs to meet when we come back on Breakpoint. Back to Dancebeat Records. John was feeling upbeat about his chances and ready for his preparatory pitch.
I think Breakpoint is very good because it reflects what's going on now. It gives us an opportunity for us creative developers to get access to funding, access to markets, and I think Breakpoint is a really good initiative for us.
Caribbean Downloads is a project which I started 4 years ago to attempt to bring Caribbean music into the digital world. The Carriolo mobile entertainment player, it's a music video ringtones player. It streams on demand and pay-per-view and subscription. There's how it's looking to the consumer. Our business model is an online distribution company specializing in digital downloads for the market. Records are converted digitally and put on our Caribbean Downloads platform. I think that Caribbean entertainment is for the world. We have to embrace our creativity. We have the content. We have the technologies now available. And it's time for us to make revenues from our culture today and sustainable for generations to come.
I'm not understanding the business model very well.
It's like, how did people come to iTunes catalog? With their iPod. And with that iPod,
it was possible to go and access a lot of music that iTunes had. What we're saying is that with the Carriola, you will access Caribbean music. Is that more clear?
It is okay. I'm wondering why it is you didn't tell us that when you did the presentation. My feeling is that the presentation did not deliver what you wanted to deliver. Now, I don't know what you wanted to deliver, but what I heard and what I heard the second time when you explained what I heard when you did the presentation versus what I heard when I asked you to explain to me, this second piece was a lot clearer.
My coaching session was tough, but it was good. It was very, very good, actually. Good experience. Let me know what I need to do, how I need to improve, how I need to stop saying R and hum and It was good.
Meanwhile, Keith was feeling quietly confident that his company could tick all the boxes for moving forward in Breakpoint.
I believe my company should be a finalist in Breakpoint because I returned to Barbados 4 years ago specifically to set up a company to provide jewelry for the market in Europe, actually specifically for the market in Denmark. On that basis, when we heard of Breakpoint and the opportunity that's granted, it pretty much is everything that we're geared to do. Christian Face Custom Jewelry is a small jewelry business here in Barbados. We set it up. We came here from Denmark to Barbados to set up a particular type of company that is able to facilitate jewelry export from Barbados to Denmark and by extension Europe. Customers and clients are migrating away from goods produced in the East or to some extent goods designed in the West. They're moving to more ethnic, ethically manufactured stuff, ethnic, personal, handcrafted, exotic jewelry. For instance, you would find now in fashion runways, you would find pieces reflecting African culture, or pieces reflecting ancient Indian culture or Grecian culture. Pieces that normally did not come to the forefront. It's no longer simply a matter of contemporary design. We're going back to, it seems the design is going back to basics.
You start off by talking about the fact that you had an opportunity in Denmark, and it has been about 3-4 years, but the opportunity, it seems, is still there. Okay. But I'm not really clear on how that links to why you were standing presenting to this audience that you would be presenting to. So I think you need a greater clarity and a greater precision.
It was difficult to hear. You didn't project your voice, as Martin was saying before, and you didn't push your product. Now, I know you're outside of this environment, so I know that you have a lot more passion as far as your whole business is concerned, etc.
The thing you're producing is a product, but also you are an integral part of the product. So you have to sell you. I have to look at you and say, okay, all right, wow, this is what this fella comes up with. All right, I like him. I'm going to go with him.
You have to sell your business. You were not selling, you were lecturing.
My coaching session was absolutely brilliant. Awesome, wonderful. I'm pretty confident.
Rodney's Wellness Retreat is a family-run business specializing in agro-tourism. Managing Director Lucilla Lewis is passionate about preserving the legacy of her father's farm.
It used to be a farm. It was my father's retirement farm. He worked on the estate from carpenter up to manager. So we are preserving not just my father's legacy, if you want to call it that, but the socio-economic history of the village of Sufra. And so all of my siblings, we have been working in it, putting our money, our time, without even thinking of profitability.
Rodney's Wellness Retreat was incorporated in Dominica in March 2010 to conduct 3 lines of business in the agro-tourism sector, namely Carrots Gardens, Big Banana Campground, which offers accommodation in appropriately and comfortably furnished tents. It also accommodates guests looking for somewhere to pitch their tents and to do their own cooking. Then Carrots Cottages, which will offer a different from tent type of accommodation to guarantee a complete and pleasurable business, religious holiday to passionate nature lovers.
Rodney's Wellness is market ready to target the entire European market and generate sustained business for RWR.
Don't miss what happens next as the firms move closer to their regional pitches on Breakpoint. Barbadian company Ibis Bath & Body was established in 2008 and produces all natural beauty products. Company founder Kellyanne Alcott is confident in her product, which is also environmentally friendly.
I believe Ibis Bath & Body is a true representative of what Caribbean beauty regimen stands for. Hi, my name is Kellyanne Alcott, Managing Director of Ibis Bath & Body. The company is located in the beautiful Isle of Barbados, where we currently manufacture a line of 10 natural wonderful soaps that embodies the lush nature of the Caribbean. The company strives in every aspect to be as eco-friendly as possible, so pick Ibis Bath & Body, a true representation of Caribbean bath and body products, to be part of Breakpoint.
Back at Cave Hill School of Business, Lucilla was about to make her presentation to the coaches, but she needed a little help with coordinating the projector and her presentation.
Oh, sorry. Can you see here? You see that it says solutions at the top of the page. So you know if it says solutions at the top of the page, that is what is on the screen. So look at me. There's no need for this.
But with a little help from Dr. Janine Coma, Lucilla was underway.
Business model is one where we thought it through carefully, and we had these 3 business lines because we were expecting that one would generate business for the other. So we started with Carrots Gardens, restaurant, bar, blackbird watching, food tasting, etc. Then the cottages and the campground. But the campground has overtaken. We think we have an ideal combination of factors to sell a winning agritourism product.
I got 25% of what you said.
You serious?
It needs to be a lot more succinct. You said you had planned to practice.
But I didn't get to practice.
And the best place to practice is in front of the mirror.
But I think the presentation style is where I need to work on. And I think after this session, I feel very, very confident going forward.
Meanwhile, Lucilla wasn't the only one struggling with her presentation. While Kellyanne believed in her product, she needed some help with the start of her pitch.
My problem is my starting. I don't know how I should start this, basically.
Good.
The target market. Workaholics capsulized in caps. It encompasses many people. Can I start back over, please? This is what Ibis Bath & Body is portraying to do. Basically give a story of how true Caribbean people live, which is the everyday people. How we basically have, how our lives are here, and why would you want to experience it even if it's through a bar of soap?
Confidence is going to be a big thing when you're projecting and when you're pitching to venture capitalists. It has to be confidence coming through. Passion has to come through. So you can be quiet in terms of, you know, the way your demeanor, but it has to show confidence that you know what you're talking about. You know these farmers. So when you show that picture, you can say, look, this is Mr. Wilson that I've been working with for the past 5 years, and personalize it, because then they know that you're not doing this arm's length type of work relationship. You know these people. There is a benefit. You want to involve more persons to get into farming as well, to help produce these goods and services, and that's job creation. There's an eco-friendly aspect to it as well, and you want to play up those parts.
The coaching session was very informative. I actually know the areas I have to work on to best pitch my idea to the panel and the judges that I will be presenting to on the 18th.
With all the training done and dusted, the candidates moved forward with their new skills to the regional pitches which took place in 3 countries, Barbados, St. Lucia and Jamaica. We first head to the regional pitch in St. Lucia with Dancebeat Records. At Dancebeat Records, John faced a tough session with his coaches in the preliminary round, but it encouraged him to put in some extra practice before his regional pitch.
I'm about to see the judges now. I feel prepared, yeah. I've been practicing all night, all morning, and yeah, it's about preparation, it's about practice, practice, practice. And I think I'm prepared. The name of my brand is Cariola, which comes from Caribbean Downloads. It is a player that allows the customer to get Caribbean content from the internet and play back on any digital device. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is John Francis. I'm from Dancebeat Records, a company that I organized and established in Sweden in 1990. The aim of the company was to represent and produce, promote, publish Afro-Caribbean artists in Scandinavia. I returned to St. Kitts 10 years ago in an attempt to go closer to the source and to help address some of the challenges I faced in working with Caribbean music in Europe. Today I would like to present Caribbean Downloads and its new platform, the Cariola, which is a new era in Caribbean entertainment. Ever since Harry Belafonte, with his song, Day-O, Daylight Come and I Won't Go Home, Caribbean music has been in the heart, the mind and soul of people across all continents. It's established itself. Its success has also been a bit of its downfall, with problems with traditional source of distribution, which has led to frustration for the artists, the public who desire it, and people who try to do business with it.
It's a solid start for John Francis, but Grenadian judge Alan Brzezinski is concerned with copyright issues.
Mr. Francis.
Yes, sir.
I saw that one of the products you wish to make available for download is the Caribbean festivals.
Yes.
We have a carnival upcoming in Grenada, and over the last few years, the Carnival Development Committee there has taken strenuous measures to ensure that they copyright everything. How much of an opportunity do you see with covering these Caribbean festivals?
We have a platform for streaming. There's great opportunities for our project, or a project likewise, to do deals with carnival committees, with the artists, with the right holders such as ECHO, which we have in the Caribbean, or JAM or COSCAP in Barbados, and film these festivals. We have a huge interest for the diaspora, people living in other countries who are interested in Caribbean content, to know what's going on at home. It's also a great source of revenues because people are prepared to pay up to $20 US for one stream. So if you imagine 10,000 people, which is the type of figures I know from my experience in St. Kitts, are logging on and wanting to stream, that's 10,000 times 20. That's $200,000 for one event.
As you mentioned with the festivals and carnivals, etc., the carnivals may be doable, but for a lot of the festivals, many of the artists, especially the international artists, black out their performances because of their existing IP rights. So deriving a value on the streaming is going to be extremely difficult if you have to block out the majority of the international artists in the St. Kitts Music Festival,
let me
etc.
come to you directly. Come to you directly with that question. If I was to stream St. Kitts Music Carnival, which happens at the end of this month, I will not be interested in streaming the international artists, except the reggae ones. Yes, I probably will get the reggae ones. The Diana Rosses and the Tony Braxtons of this world, they're not interesting for us. What's interesting is the local artists, the local people, the local billing on the show. That is what's interesting. That's interesting for us. It's also interesting for the diaspora.
Here's a little bit more about the Economic Partnership Agreement. The European Development Fund makes €143 million available for Caribbean economic integration, EPA implementation, and private sector competitiveness. Who will remain calm and who will be under pressure when we come back on Breakpoint? Although jewelry producer Keith was passionate about his products, preliminary coaches felt he lacked enthusiasm in his presentation. Will he be able to summon more energy for his regional pitch in Barbados?
I'm about to see the judges. I'm feeling pretty confident. I've ran through my presentation several times this morning, and I'm pretty much ready.
Good morning, my name is Keith Shepard. I'm the founder of Christian Fish Custom Jewelry. Christian Fish Custom Jewelry was established in December 2009 to manufacture jewelry here in Barbados for export to Denmark specifically. In 2008, I was at a party in Denmark, and while at the party, I happened to make a pair of earrings and presented to the host. The host took the pair of earrings and showed it to a guest at the particular party, and the guest came back to me and asked me if I can turn up to his office at my convenience to show it to his purchasing manager. So I turned and said, "Who are you?" He was the finance manager of Dancebeat, a large buying concern in Denmark. He said that if I were to turn up with my product, he would give me, to some extent, an inside track to the purchasing manager. He says, Mr. Shepard, if you are able to produce goods from the Caribbean, it has a very strong selling point. If you're able to produce fair trade goods in the Caribbean, it has a very strong selling point. He also explained that if we were able to do it affordably and if we were able to do it at high quality, the Danish standard, that my products would have very strong selling point. I explained to him at the time, I'm in Denmark, I was doing some translating, and we would not be able to facilitate that, but I will travel to the Caribbean and check it out. In 2009, we came here with the express purposes of examining whether or not we will be able to do so. It has been 4 years, and we have developed a company specifically based for export to Europe.
It's a strong start for Keith, and Kenneth Green wanted to know more.
How important is your brand in the whole process of actually getting the jewelry out there?
My brand is, I think it would be 99% the emphasis is placed on the brand. The reason is Christian Fries is the name of my first son. Okay. It's a Danish name, and it's a trick actually. Well, it's a bit of a trick because immediately I use a company now and a name like Christian Fries. All of Scandinavia recognizes the name and pretty much gravitate towards it. Our business model is a very simple one. We research, design, and develop our pieces and collections. We create context-sensitive marketing and packaging materials. We also do extensive market testing here in Barbados, both amongst the locals to ensure that our product is actually an intrinsic Barbadian product, but we also do market testing amongst the visitor market. 3 million visitors that come to Barbados every year. The government pretty much pays for them, and we're taking advantage of the large influx of individuals who come here, visitors, 35% from Europe, to ensure that our product actually not only has Caribbean flair, but it actually resonates with the European marketplace. We do product and service offerings, which entails that we actually offer our services, our products to markets. We're doing this. We also do training and subcontracting. This means we're a very small company and don't have the workforce to produce jewelry in large amounts. But having said that, we are able to teach large amounts of individuals in very short periods, and these individuals are actually we are able to subcontract parts of the contract to them, and we actually collect and quality assess the products that we have subcontracted to them, and we also package and ship.
And it's fashion pieces and also real gold and real stones?
No, actually only on request. We only do fine jewelry on request. The reason is because the CBI suggested that because of rising metal prices, many persons are migrating away from high fashion and high price jewelry to fashion jewelry. And there's a massive market for this. They're also migrating away from Asian markets to exotic marketplaces.
Meanwhile, back at Dancebeat Records' pitch, John Francis was raising eyebrows.
Caribbean music needs to go digital. Download, streaming at the consumer and user end. We propose to do this. The remedy is through Caribbean Downloads website and its magazine website. It's 2 websites feeding into the public through to the digital market, and also to the online stores such as iTunes, Nokia, and such like. Caribbean Downloads will, through its 2 websites, use the social media to present the Carriola, which is its digital media player.
It's really daunting to think of the amount of piracy that there is in this industry, and the fact that, I mean, we have to look at human behavior. Why should someone come and subscribe to your site for $20 US when they can download a torrent?
The object of our site is to collect a vast quantity of Caribbean music so that people can just Google Caribbean music, and we can get it by genre, by artists, immediately. Of course, there's always room for competition for anybody else who wants to deliver applications, for sure. But the public has a right to go from wherever he wants to. But our objective is to gather Caribbean music for it to become sustainable, so that we can sell it and earn from it.
And you think you can sell that for $20 in the face of the existing competition?
Okay, we have a subscription model. What people are not prepared to do is to pay for music. full stop. Okay? They are prepared to subscribe to getting their music.
But John is beginning to feel under pressure.
Excuse me. The output is that customers through downloads and through streaming and subscription models will be able to access the content which is stored in the cloud distribution. The cloud distribution is a legal agreement with artists and producers with secure paywalls. The potential for Caribbean music, really mucking this up, excuse me, I'll go back to my notes. The potential for Caribbean music through the digital platform I will go back to my other notes. Excuse me very much. Okay. Yeah. The Cariola is a mobile application where customers will download it through their internet connection. It is possible to store. It's possible to search. It's possible to organize your playlist and play it on all digital platforms. So the magic of Cariola digital player is that it is streaming. It's an on-demand streaming application for Caribbean entertainment available anywhere. It's an integrated paywall with sophisticated pay-per-view vision solution. The competition, it's a standalone project. iTunes and other digital aggregators with small labels, illegal music websites are basically the only competition. It stands alone. I just presented to the judges. I dropped a slide. It made me pause for a while, went blank. Took me very much time to get going again. I think I got there in the end. I felt good about it, and the judges asked some good questions, so I think I grabbed them in the end. I believe I'll be one of the finalists in Breakpoint.
In preparing for her pitch in St. Lucia, Lucilla took full advantage of her training session and went back to the drawing board.
To prepare for today's judging, first of all, I revised my presentation based on the coaching sessions. I got some useful comments from my coach, and I arranged the rehearsal, which were very helpful, both sessions. I took the advice of my coaches, and as a result, I'm very confident, and I'm looking forward to the session. I think it has been a really rewarding experience so far. The Rodney's Wellness brand, I think we have been successful so far in developing the brand and selling a gamut of services to visitors that they're all excited about.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Lucilla Lewis, Managing Director of Rodney's Wellness Retreat, a viable family-owned and operated agritourism business in Kanawha, Soufriere. My father, Rodney Lewis, bought Kanawha, 4.6 acres of land. He spent his retirement on Kanawha. When on his deathbed, we knew Kanawha could not die. The last smile we got from him had to do with Kanawha. The last conversation had to do with Kanawha. The solutions: access to capital, investments in accommodation along the trail, investments in tourism products in Dominica, in the Soufriere area generally, restoration of Kanawha, dear to our heart, investments, if you're doing tourism, investments in promotion and human resource development. The ensemble we came up with to do that was Rodney's Wellness Retreat. We decided we were going to finance through our own resources. So the project, as of now, is 100% owner equity finance. There's no debt on the project. We decided to face implementation since we were depending on our pockets. We faced implementation, and we decided on integrated business lines. So we had Carrots Gardens, which could start on its own as a restaurant. Then the campground, kicking in revenue for Carrots Gardens because guests staying in the tents would need breakfast and dinner. Now, our markets were clearly the French market. The national statistics show that most of our guests, Dominica's tourists, are French, from the French tourists, French markets. And also, we were looking at nature lovers, artists, etc.
In terms of how you see this growing, how do you see it growing? What do you see as being the growth factors for you?
In our projections, we assume 40% occupancy, 40% and 80% going forward. But we see ourselves reaching 100% occupancy. We're selling our village, the history, the story of our village, the story of our father. That gives us a passion that is evident. Our projections, again, we see the French dominating the market again, and we see our projections are very conservative, but we expect Carrots Cottages, when it comes on stream next year, to account for more than 50% of total revenue.
Assuming you can meet your projections, how much room do you have for expansion of the wooden accommodations as opposed to the camping ground?
I think we'll exceed our projections. I'm usually very conservative when I do projections.
Because right now you're just looking at 3 duplexes.
Yeah, 3 duplexes. We have half an acre of land. Right in the section we have earmarked and cleared for the cottages. There's another half acre of land not utilized. We just landscaped it to add to the ambience of the place, so that could be easily used.
I have just seen the judges and I did my best. But the competition is a competition. There was so much to say in so little time, but I think Rodney's Wellness Retreat will be selected.
Find out next who is appreciated and who is interrogated in the battle on the road to London with Breakpoint. After her anxious preparatory training session, Ibis Managing Director Kellyanne was again battling nerves as she stepped forward to the regional pitch.
I'm about to see the judges and I'm feeling a bit nervous and anxious at the same time. But I've been preparing over the period of weeks before the event, and we've been doing a bit of presentations in front of different people just to prepare me for this part. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kellyanne Alicott. I am Managing Director of Ibis Bath & Body. Ibis Bath & Body was done so that I can express myself both creatively and also to express my love for chemistry. So I here introduce to you my products that I have produced, which is a line of 10 soaps. We plan to target mainly women. Women usually make the decisions of purchasing based on scent, based on the moisturizing ingredients. When we think about marketing our product to the world, we're thinking about allowing the person to experience the Caribbean in their own bathroom.
Kellyanne had an emotional appeal to her pitch, but Kenneth Green wanted hard facts.
Do you have any relationships in Europe already? Do you have any kind of any cause for increased optimism?
Just based on the sales and people ordering from me by responding to my emails, that is the enthusiasm. I honestly believe that it will do well in the UK market based on the people that I interact with now and based on my selling point in certain areas. Most of our business right now is done word of mouth. We have done a lot of trade shows recently, and we have a shop at Hurston's Cave where we interact with a lot of tourists from the UK and from the US. And this gives us feedback on what we need to do to improve our product and what we need to do to produce other products, what they expect from us. We're also looking to do a website as well so people can always be connected to us throughout the world, which will allow online marketing.
Kelly, what's your knowledge of the competitive landscape in the UK for natural products?
I don't have the percentage of how competitive it is, but it's very competitive. You have to have a difference. The reason why I'm proposing using natural and organic raw materials from the Caribbean, because there's not really any particular company doing that right now, all natural and all organic. We produce 3,800 soaps a year, but the equipment that I have now is allowed us to produce 16,000 a month. So we're asking you to invest in us, a company that believes in natural and organic products, and there's a movement towards, it's not just a trend, it's a movement towards this type of living. Ibis Bath and Body believes that we are a company that can represent the Caribbean in this aspect.
Given that the other people who are probably in the sector locally
Yes.
are in the same position, that most of their sales are coming from tourists, how, in terms of the competitive landscape locally, where do you fare?
About 30% of my sales are from the local market.
No, of all the sales to tourists
Yes.
by locals, what percentage are you?
You don't know.
I'm not too sure.
Okay, the reason I'm asking this is to try and establish what kind of level of leadership in your market you have before you go into exporting into Europe, which obviously is even more competitive than your local market. Okay, all right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just came out from seeing the judges. I'm very relaxed now because that presentation is finally over, and hopefully I'll be one of the contestants in the final 12 going to UK.
After a solid start to his regional presentation, Keith was going from strength to strength and weaving his magic over the judges.
What do we have under the hood that the other guys don't have? Experience. I have 20 years experience in jewelry making, jewelry design. Specialization, I have specialization in Scandinavian textile techniques, which means I can turn bits and pieces of metal into fabric and turn the fabric into jewelry. I also have I lived in Guyana, I lived here in Barbados, and to some extent I have a very strong feel for what is Caribbean. I've also lived 7 years in England, 7 years in Europe, and in Denmark, which has given me an understanding of their design aesthetic and what pleases them. Techniques. We have 300 plus techniques that we can apply to either individually or collectively to any amount of materials to create a plethora of really fascinating bits and pieces of jewelry. We're presently involved with establishing a showroom for visitors here, and we're also proposing to establish 3 more. We have applications pending at the airport and seaport to that effect. We also do direct promotions in hotels and offices. The reason for doing direct promotions in offices with our jewelry is to some extent to remain in touch with the Caribbean. What is Caribbean? At the same time, we would like to see that our products resonate with visitors. So for that reason, we do hotels as well. We have a presence in social networks. We're about to establish a shop at Amazon.com, and we're about at the moment to present our stuff on wholesale directories online. Team. My name is Keith Shepard. I'm the CEO of the company, as it were. Beata Fries is my wife, and she does administration and finance. Ms. Dubrier is a trained bench jeweler. N. Johnson and S. Shepard, these two are responsible for promotion all across the island. We are looking for distributors in high-end boutiques or clothing and accessory chains in Europe. We're looking for this, or distributors in high-traffic areas, either one or the next. One would be high-end, high-price jewelry, the other would be low-cost jewelry. We're looking for the possible establishment of a retail entity in a high-end traffic area. We were considering Birmingham in England, but we can do that on our own. We need someone who can actually manage affairs in London.
But Trinidadian judge Genevieve Jodhan wanted to find out more about his business model.
So have you sold anything into Denmark? I know you mentioned that was where the idea came from.
No, we haven't been able to approach them because of capacity. It took a time to teach the amount of persons that we need to draw from to make the component bits and pieces. We have exported to Germany.
So you sell in Bridgetown?
We sell
in
here.
this Kay's house?
Yes, we manufacture and sell from Kay's house in Bridgetown. We also are opening at Lanterns, so a retail showroom in Lanterns. We have applications at the airport and the seaport pending.
How are you going to deal with scaling capacity? Because you are the lead designer, and you have plans to open in the airport, etc. Which, and I believe your projections, because of course there's tremendous traffic and interest in jewelry. Yes. But how are you going to scale to meet the challenge of rising demand?
We have went about quite thoughtfully actually. When we first came down here, we spent a solid 3 years. Up until January this year, we spent 3 years teaching bits and pieces of our techniques, not all to one person or with me, but to several groups. And we have now had at the Jury Academy, which is an establishment we have in town, we've had over 150 persons who have passed through the Jury Academy and has been exposed to our techniques. We routinely, with orders that we're not able to make ourselves, subcontract the best of them to help us.
I just had my presentation. To begin with, I was a tiny bit nervous, but by the end of it, I was in full flow. Everything was absolutely brilliant. I think I caught the attention of the judges. They were impressed with some of the things that I said, and gazing in the response, I have a feeling that I'll be one of the finalists.
Facing a tough decision, the judges deliberated the merits of each candidate, beginning with Dancebeat Records.
Whilst I agree, there's need for Caribbean music in a context to be promoted, I didn't think this was the solution.
Ibis, Bath and Body.
If she gains the kind of market traction that she can within the Caribbean, then probably in the next few years she'll be in a better place to be able to go forward.
And again, we come across the attempt of an entrepreneur to package and bottle the Caribbean. Christian custom jewelry.
With the right partner, it could develop into a very interesting brand.
I think it's a potentially successful business model within the context of the Caribbean.
Rodney's Wellness.
I still am not sure what she's selling.
She's selling the access point to the trail, of which would be a campsite and the ancillary services like meals, etc.
But she didn't say that.
Who is the budding entrepreneur that will go through to the next round? The emotive eco-tourism managing director building on the legacy of her father? The passionate jeweler who wants to break into Europe? The visionary producer of all-natural bath and body products? Or the upbeat music downloads director? Find out next week who will be going through to London on Breakpoint. Here is the contact information for each of the firms represented in today's show. We wish all our firms every success with their business.
Liat, the Caribbean airline.